Hello guys and welcome back again to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. On today's video, I want to talk about 3 EQ mistakes that might be ruining your mixes, which you need to look out for or try to avoid. Obviously, there's a lot of online tutorials and videos where people talk about this is how to EQ this or how to EQ that, and also some presets being sold. But I thought let me just do this video so I can actually give you guys perspective of how to EQ and also what to look out for when EQing so that you don't run into these 3 mistakes. Let's get into the video. So here we are inside the door, guys, and the first thing I think on these top 3 EQ mistakes that actually ruin your mixes is not EQing in context.
You've got to see the whole thing in context.
Say for instance you want to EQ your vocal and you are EQing the vocal in isolation without actually listening to how the EQ to the vocal is affecting the rest of the elements, like your drums, your bass, and your music bosses and stuff, the melodies and stuff. Let's listen to this vocal because this is a mix that I've done last year. Let's just have a listen to how it sounded like. Then I'll take off the EQs. You will notice how the EQ shouldn't change drastically, whereby the mix doesn't fit in, because from the get-go, you should be trying to get sounds that actually work together. From the production stage, you should try to come up with a drum that you think will fit into your production, and then melody that will match those drums as well, so that you don't actually have to rely, say, 80% or 70% on the mix to actually give you the sound that you want. So let's have a listen to this.
I used to think a Porsche make it better. Flicking it and sporting that KN, I'll give it pepper. Another bailiff on the phone, another court letter. Pouring all that water.
So let me go ahead and just solo all the EQs that I have on this vocal. This shouldn't change the sound much. Let's have a listen to it again.
I used to think a Porsche make it better. Flicking it and sporting that KN, I'll give it pepper. Another bailiff on the phone, another court letter.
So for me, listening to this without those EQs, all I noticed is that it actually sounded, more round, but I wanted this to, be a little bit thin so it cuts through quicker. That's why the EQ moves we did were. So if you look at this first EQ, it's just, fixing problems, getting rid of the lows so that if there's any rumble, that doesn't come in. Followed by a Portec style EQ, which is just adding a bit of 10K so that this, sounds a lot more in your face, to add a little bit of brightness and some kind of aggression as well. Let's just exaggerate that 10K because, the ears is obviously more sensitive around that 8K, 10K range.
Flicking it and sporting that KN, I'll give it pepper. Another bailiff on the phone, another court letter. Pouring all that water up my nose so I could snort better. With the pressure on the net, it caused the force.
So those are the range that I actually wanted to, exaggerate a little bit. As you can see, it's just 1 dB, nothing drastic. That's what I mean by obviously trying to get sound that match your songs already, like the production, and also EQing in context. Because if I was to push that much into that vocal, the vocal would then be too bright to fit into this production, which is why you need to listen to the rest of the sound when you are EQing. That's followed by a little bit of contouring here, which I'm literally just dropping 1.5 dB at maybe 2.99, then a dB at 600 hertz and 0.5 at 244. Just a low shelf to sort of pull that away from the lows. So if you listen to this, obviously followed by fresh air for a bit of mid-air, this shouldn't change from how it was to what we've done so far.
It caused a forced error. Ghosted every dickhead on my phone and every raw seller. Freezing.
So what you notice is, a little bit more brightness and a bit more, thin vocal. So it's cuts through the mix, like I said. So you need to EQ in context. Don't just, EQ or sound in solo. Be it your kick, be it your vocal, be it your snare. Don't EQ them in solo. You can maybe solo now and again to just hear if there's anything that needs to be done that you are not picking up when it's in the whole production. But remember, nobody will listen to your sound in solo. So you need to always EQ in context. So the second one I think is ruining your mixes is the source material. Say for instance, you are working with low quality samples and now you are relying on, EQing or other mixing effects to actually enhance it.
So hey, can I get this thing projected so we can check video and audio quality?
You need to first look for high quality material as much as you can get your hand on. The same with vocals. When you want to cut your vocals, try to record in a treated room. Even if you haven't got a treated room, try to put up some duvet, and also, try to get the best mic that you can afford for your voice, the best pre's, if possible, some outboard gears like compressors and EQs that will help, give it some life before it hits your door. Because once you've recorded something that's not good and you're trying to fix it, say for instance, you recorded vocal that has got some background noise or room tones, now you are actually battling to fix problem rather than enhance it, which is already, a lost battle in most cases.
I lost the battle at 5 o'clock, but I won it back again at 7!
Obviously now some technologies are being improved, like some background noise removers and stuff that has been, optimized to actually give you some decent result, but it's still always good to get, the perfect materials from the get-go. That's why I said source material is the second thing that ruins your mixes, because trying to EQ a badly recorded vocal is really hard task, so don't do it. If you're gonna get the right source, go for it. Now the last one on the top 3 that I think that ruin your mixes EQ wise is your taste. Everybody knows what a good music sound like, good production, what it sounds like because you listen to top artists. But over time you develop your own taste that you don't know, you subconsciously do it. Say for instance, if you listen to a mix by Jason Joshua, listen to a mix by Leslie Brathwaite or Ken Lewis, or one of your top engineers, Tizio, Baines, anyone that you can name that is top, Serbian. If you listen to their mixes, one thing you notice is how they all sound different, even though they are all on top of their game. That is because their taste come in. So you need to develop a kind of taste for your music. Say for instance, some artists like a bright mix, I notice that Tizio mixes sound extremely bright, but when you listen to a mix by Jason Joshua, is less bright, but, more round. The same with Saben, his mixes seems to be more round as well, less brightness. But, newer artists, or should I say newer engineers, tend to do a much brighter mixes. Even the last couple of mixes that I hear from certain other newer mixing engineers tend to be moving towards that brightness kind of rim, but not as bright as, like the Tizio one. So that's his taste. He like bright stuffs. So you also need to develop your taste. Final bonus on this EQ mistake that I see people do is presets. Yes,
presets.
When you get a preset from, be it an engineer online or if you've bought it, remember that how they set that preset up is from a sound that they have. Say for instance, these drums, as you can see, I've got this bass actually. Let's have a listen to this bass. So all I've done is just this EQ, a little bit of, push there and just getting rid of super low, because I have another bass here that's doing the low part of the bass. So as you can see. Now let's listen to both in context. The same with the drums. Let's go and have a look at the EQ on the drums. You can see just a little bit of low pass at the top, just over 9K. Then a little dip here, just, let the bass poke through a little bit. That's it, nothing drastic. The same with this dub. If you look at all the EQ moves that I've done, you see that I did it intentional. So I didn't just, slap EQs without thinking of what I want to do. So that's why I think, you know, your next enemy could be the presets that you are using, because, you know, a lot of the presets that you see, the EQ move is actually very drastic. Look at this one, you know, a little bit of, you know, just getting rid of this top so that they don't poke out too much, because it's the snare. I feel like it's a little bit harsh. But some EQs that I see from, you know, like presets, say for instance on a kick, you could see an EQ looking like this. You know, so obviously I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this, right? But you need to be intentional. Why do you do it? Obviously, if someone sends you a preset that the EQ moves looks like this, you need to then ask yourself, is my kick drum or is my vocal that bad that it needs this much EQing? Obviously, there will be occasions where the sound needs it. You know, like say for instance, your kick is very dark and you want it to be bright enough to cut through. You can actually push this, you know, just do what you gotta do, but not just doing it on every song. Because if you have a preset, you tend to use it on every song. So if you find yourself doing the same EQ moves on every song, that is already a red flag that is ruining your mixes. So I hope this is helpful, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you obviously would like contents like this, let me know in the comment section, and I'll obviously look at making more things like this. Until then, hit that super thanks and super sticker, because it does help the channel. And if you'd like me to mix your song, DM me on IG at Zany Pro 1, or you can book me directly on engineers.com/Zany Pro. You know, if you obviously have some struggles in your mixes, I would like to know them on this comment section. Maybe I can talk about it on the next video. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye now.